Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel for another deep dive.
Yes, welcome back.
Today we're going deep into a book that's over 2,000 years old.
Yeah, that's right.
But don't worry, its wisdom is anything Baiti ancient.
We're going to be talking about the Arthashastra.
The Arthashastra.
It's a masterpiece
Okay.
of political philosophy and strategy written by the brilliant Chanakya.
Chanakya.
You might know him by his other name, Kautilya.
Okay.
Okay.
I have to admit, before I prepped for this episode, Chanakya wasn't exactly a household name for me.
Right.
But I started digging in, and I was blown away.
Oh, yeah.
This guy was advising kings.
Yes.
Shaping empires, writing about economics and leadership centuries before Machiavelli or Sun Tzu.
That's right.
What I find fascinating is that the Arthashastra,
Yes.
it isn't just about winning wars.
Uh-huh.
It's about building a successful and prosperous society.
It really is.
In fact, Chanakya outlines 7 essential elements for any thriving kingdom.
He calls it the Saptanga model.
The Saptanga model.
And it covers everything, from the leader themselves to the advisors to the people, the city's defenses, the treasury, the army, A&D allies.
Wow.
It's a really holistic view of what it takes to create a successful state.
And get this, he even dives into the psychology of leadership.
Yeah.
He talks about the Rajarshi, the philosopher king who combines wisdom with practical skills.
Yeah.
Here's a quote from the Arthashastra that lists some of the qualities of this ideal leader.
Okay.
Born into a high family, endowed with good fortune, intelligence and spirit given to seeing elders, pious, truthful in speech, does not break promises, grateful, liberal, of great energy, not dilatory with weak neighboring princes, resolute, not having a mean council of ministers, desirous of training.
Wow, what a list.
Right.
It's remarkable how much of Chanakya's advice still resonates today, even outside the realm of politics.
Yeah.
Take his emphasis on selecting the right people.
Okay.
Not just for government, but for any organization or even your personal life.
Right.
He believed in rigorous testing and evaluation.
Uh-huh.
You can think of it as ancient background checks. He actually devised these elaborate tests for administrators to gauge their loyalty, their ability to resist temptation, all sorts of things.
So, like, what would he do?
For instance, he'd tempt them with bribes
Oh, wow.
to see if they were incorruptible.
Wait, so this was like a reality show Chanakya style?
Well, not exactly a reality show, but there's definitely an element of drama there.
That's amazing.
He was really trying to create a system where only the most competent and ethical people rose to positions of power.
And this wasn't just about preventing corruption.
No, not at all.
He understood that even good people can make bad decisions under pressure, right?
Absolutely. That's why he stressed the importance of not just selecting the right people,
Uh-huh.
but also creating systems of accountability and oversight.
So it's not enough to just find good people. You have to create an environment where they can thrive and do their best work.
That's a great way to put it, and I think that's one of the most enduring lessons of the Arthashastra.
Okay.
It's not just a book about power. It's a book about how to wield power wisely and ethically.
Now, I know some people might be thinking, okay, ancient Indian philosophy, that's all well and good, but how does this actually apply to my life? Well, here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
At the core of Chanakya's philosophy is this concept called Aanvikshiki.
Aanvikshiki.
It's often translated as the science of reasoning or critical thinking, but it's more than just logic.
Yeah, it's about developing a clear and balanced mind able to navigate the complexities of life.
Yeah.
And according to Chanakya, this benefits not just the individual, but also everyone around them.
So it's not just about thinking positive thoughts, it's about thinking effectively.
Exactly. It's about being realistic, looking at all sides of an issue, and making decisions based on sound judgment rather than emotion or impulse.
I can already see how this could be useful in everything from making career choices to navigating difficult relationships.
Absolutely. Chanakya believed that Aanvikshiki could help individuals make better decisions, lead more effectively, and even live happier and more fulfilling lives. And that brings us to one of the most intriguing aspects of his thinking, his approach to understanding the enemy.
Okay, now we're talking strategy.
Yes,
Spill the tea.
Chanakya was a master of strategy, but he wasn't just interested in defeating enemies. He wanted to understand them,
Okay.
their motivations, their strengths, and especially their weaknesses.
Uh-huh.
He even wrote about the excellences of an enemy.
What?
These are qualities that might seem positive, but actually make them easier to conquer.
So like what? Being overconfident, having a weak advisor.
Those are good examples.
Yeah.
He also mentions things like being greedy or being surrounded by yes men or lacking a strong base of support among the people.
It's like he's saying, know your enemy's weaknesses, but also be aware of their strengths. especially the ones that might seem deceptive.
And he went even further, outlining strategies for not just defeating an enemy, but also pacifying a conquered territory.
So don't just conquer, but also integrate.
Precisely, he advised leaders to respect local customs, offer incentives, even adopt the local dress and language to demonstrate a willingness to understand and work with the conquered population.
That's fascinating. It's like he's saying, be a cultural chameleon.
You could say that he understood that cultural sensitivity and integration were essential for long-term stability and prosperity.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here. The Rajarshi, the Saptanga, Aanvikshiki, understanding the enemy. I feel like I'm already getting a crash course in ancient Indian statecraft.
And we're just scratching the surface. But before we go any deeper, I think it's important to remember that Chanakya wasn't just a cold, calculating strategist.
Wait, really? Spirituality and hardcore strategy? Those don't usually go together.
That's what makes Chanakya so unique. He believed in seeking both human advice from experts and advisors and divine guidance through rituals, prayers, understanding the spiritual laws of the universe.
So it's like he's saying, plan meticulously, but also be open to a higher power.
It's a fascinating blend of pragmatism and spirituality, something we'll explore more deeply as we continue our dive into the Arthashastra. But for now, I'm curious, what are some of your initial takeaways from what we've discussed so far?
Well, for me, it's this idea that ancient wisdom can still be incredibly relevant today. Chanakya's insights into leadership strategy and even human psychology are timeless.
Yes.
And I love that he emphasizes not just winning, but winning ethically. I'm also starting to see how his concept of Aanvikshiki, this science of reasoning, can be a powerful tool for anyone, not just kings and emperors.
That's a great insight, and I think that's what makes the Arthashastra so compelling. Its relevance transcends time and culture.
Okay, we've only just begun to crack open the Arthashastra, and I'm already hooked. I can't wait to see what other treasures we uncover as we continue our deep dive. Stay tuned.
And before we move on, we want to hear from you. What are your initial thoughts on Chanakya and the Arthashastra? Have any of his teachings resonated with you? Share your insights in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe to Book Reviews 1, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next part of our deep dive. We'll be back soon with even more insights from this timeless masterpiece.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the Arthashastra.
Yes, welcome back.
We left off talking about Chanakya's blend of pragmatism and spirituality,
Right.
seeking both human advice and divine guidance. It makes you wonder, how did this play out in his own life?
Well, Chanakya's life is shrouded in a bit of mystery.
Okay.
But what we do know is fascinating.
I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
He wasn't born into royalty or power.
Oh, really?
He was a scholar, a teacher. Some even say he was a Brahmin,
A Brahmin?
the priestly class.
Wow.
He rose to prominence through sheer intellect and strategic brilliance.
So he was like the ultimate underdog story.
Yeah,
The brainy outsider who ends up advising kings and shaping empires.
exactly. And his story is deeply intertwined with the rise of Chandragupta Maurya, the founder of the Mauryan Empire.
That's right. The Mauryan Empire, one of the largest and most powerful empires in ancient India.
Yes.
What was Chanakya's role in all of this?
Well, Chanakya saw something special in the young Chandragupta,
Okay.
a potential leader who could unite a fractured India. He became his mentor, his advisor, the mastermind behind his rise to power.
So it was more than just a teacher-student relationship.
Oh, definitely.
It's like a strategic partnership, a meeting of minds.
And a very successful one. Together, they overthrew the Nanda dynasty
Wow.
and established the Mauryan Empire, which stretched from Afghanistan in the west to Bangladesh in the east.
It's like a real-life Game of Thrones, but with philosophy and political theory thrown in.
And what's interesting is that Chanakya didn't just help Chandragupta win power, he also guided him in how to govern effectively and ethically.
So like a true mentor.
Remember that concept of the Rajarshi we discussed earlier, the philosopher king?
Yes, the ideal leader who balances wisdom with practical skills.
Well, Chanakya tried to mold Chandragupta into that ideal. He wanted him to be a just and compassionate ruler,
Okay.
concerned not just with power, but with the well-being of his people.
So it wasn't just about conquering territories, but also about creating a stable and prosperous society.
Exactly. And this brings us back to the 7 elements of a successful kingdom, the Saptanga.
The Saptang.
Chanakya believed that each of these elements was essential, and he provided detailed guidance on how to cultivate and strengthen them.
Okay, let's revisit that Saptanga model. We know the first element is the leader, the Swami, who embodies those Rajarsi qualities.
Right.
What about the second element?
The second element is the amatya, the ministers or advisors.
The amatya.
Chanakya believed that even the wisest leader needs a team of competent and trustworthy individuals to assist them in governing.
So it's like building a strong cabinet.
Yes.
A group of experts who can provide diverse perspectives and challenge the leader's assumptions.
That's a great analogy. And Chanakya was very specific about the qualities he sought in these advisors.
What kind of qualities?
They should be intelligent, of course, but also experienced, loyal. And above all, incorruptible. Remember those tests we talked about earlier?
Yes, the tests of loyalty, greed, lust, and fear.
Right. It's like he was trying to create an ancient version of a rigorous vetting process.
So interesting.
He was a firm believer in meritocracy and accountability. He wanted to ensure that only the most capable and ethical individuals held positions of power.
Which brings us to the third element of the Saptanga, the Janapada, the people.
The people, yes.
What was Chanakya's view on the role of the people in a successful kingdom?
Well, Chanakya recognized that the people are the foundation of any state. He believed that a leader's primary responsibility is to ensure their well-being and prosperity.
So it wasn't just about keeping the people in line.
No.
It was about creating conditions where they could thrive.
Exactly. He advocated for policies that promoted economic growth, social welfare, and even environmental sustainability. Wow.
He believed in fair taxation, access to education, and the protection of natural resources.
It's amazing how many of his ideas align with modern concepts of sustainable development and social justice.
Chanakya was centuries ahead of his time, in many ways. He understood that a truly successful kingdom couldn't just be powerful, it had to be just and prosperous for all its citizens.
Okay, so we've covered the leader, the advisors, and the people. What's the fourth element of the Saptanga?
The fourth element is Gurga, which refers to the fortified city.
Gurga, okay.
Chanakya understood the importance of a well-defended and strategically located capital. He believed that a strong city could protect the kingdom from invasion, serve as a center of trade and commerce,
Right.
and inspire a sense of unity and pride among the people.
So it wasn't just about military defense. It was about creating a symbol of the kingdom's strength and prosperity.
And he was very specific about the design and construction of these fortified cities.
Like what?
He advocated for using natural barriers like rivers and mountains.
Building strong walls and moats and ensuring that the city had ample supplies of food, water, and weapons to withstand a siege.
It sounds like he was drawing on the principles of both architecture and military strategy.
He was a true polymath, well-versed in a wide range of disciplines, and his insights into urban planning and defense are still relevant today as we think about how to create safe, resilient, and sustainable cities.
Okay, so we've got the leader, the advisors, the people, and the city. What's the fifth element of Chanakya's Saptanga model?
The fifth element is kosha, which refers to the treasury.
Fush.
Chanakya understood that a strong economy is essential for any successful kingdom. He believed that the treasury should be managed wisely, with revenues generated through fair taxation and expenditures carefully controlled.
So he was advocating for fiscal responsibility, balancing income and expenses.
And he went even further, outlining strategies for investing in infrastructure, promoting trade, and ensuring that the wealth generated by the kingdom benefited all its citizens, not just the elite. He even had specific ideas about how to manage different types of wealth.
Oh, really? Like what?
For example, he outlined 4 stages: identification, creation, management, and distribution.
Wow, it's like he was laying out the principles of modern economics and public finance over 2,000 years ago.
He was a visionary thinker who understood the interconnectedness of politics, economics, and social well-being, and his insights into financial management are still relevant today as governments and businesses grapple with issues like debt inflation and economic inequality.
Right, we've covered 5 elements: the leader, the advisors, the people, the fortified city, and the treasury. What's the 6th element of Chanakya's Saptanga?
The 6th element is danda, which refers to the army. Chanakya recognized that military strength is essential for protecting the kingdom from external threats and maintaining internal order.
So this is where we get into Chanakya's military strategies and tactics.
Exactly. He believed in having a well-trained and disciplined army led by competent commanders and equipped with the latest weapons and technology. He outlined principles of military organization, logistics, and strategy, emphasizing the importance of intelligence gathering adaptability and striking at the enemy's weaknesses. He even advocated for having different types of troops, each with their own strengths and specialties.
Oh, interesting.
For example, he mentioned troops that were particularly adept at fighting in forests or mountains, recognizing the importance of adapting to different terrains.
It's like he was anticipating the modern concept of specialized military units.
And he stressed the importance of not just winning battles, but also winning wars.
Okay.
He advocated for a long-term strategic vision, understanding that military victory is often just the first step in a long process of pacification and integration.
So it wasn't just about brute force. It was about having a clear objective and a plan for achieving lasting peace and stability.
Exactly. And this brings us to the seventh and final element of the Saptanga.
Okay, what's the last piece of the puzzle?
The seventh element is Mitra, which refers to allies. Chanakya understood that no kingdom can truly stand alone in a world of competing interests and potential threats.
So it's about building strategic partnerships, forming alliances with other kingdoms that share common goals or face common enemies.
And he was very strategic about this process. He outlined guidelines for identifying potential allies, assessing their strengths and weaknesses, negotiating treaties, and maintaining strong relationships based on mutual respect and benefit.
It sounds like he was advocating for a kind of ancient realpolitik, understanding that diplomacy and alliances are essential tools of statecraft.
And he was very pragmatic about it. He understood that alliances can shift and change over time, and he advised leaders to be flexible and adaptable, always seeking to maximize their kingdom's security and prosperity. He even offered guidance on how to deal with treacherous allies, recognizing that betrayal is always a possibility in the world of politics.
Wow, it's amazing how much depth and nuance there is to his thinking.
Yeah.
Like he's anticipating all the complexities of international relations centuries before the modern nation-state system even existed.
He was a true visionary, able to see the bigger picture and anticipate challenges that would continue to confront leaders for centuries to come. But what's even more remarkable is that his insights are not just applicable to kings and emperors. They offer valuable lessons for anyone navigating the complexities of leadership strategy and decision-making, whether in business politics or even our personal lives.
Okay, we've now covered all 7 elements of Chanakya's Saptanga model, a comprehensive framework for building a successful and prosperous kingdom.
Right.
But remember, Chanakya wasn't just a political strategist. He was also a deep thinker who grappled with fundamental questions about human nature, ethics, and the role of fate in our lives.
Yes.
And that brings us to one of the most intriguing aspects of his thinking, his blend of human strategy and divine guidance.
That's right. Chanakya, for all his pragmatism and focus on earthly affairs, recognized the limits of human control. He believed in seeking both human advice from experts and advisors and divine guidance through rituals, prayers, understanding the spiritual laws of the universe.
So it's like he's saying, plan meticulously, but also be open to a higher power.
It's a fascinating blend of pragmatism and spirituality, a recognition that human effort is essential, but ultimately we're all part of a larger cosmic dance.
Yeah.
And this duality is reflected not just in his teachings, but in his own life.
Okay, I'm curious to hear more about that. How did this blend of human and divine play out in Chanakya's own journey?
Well, think about his relationship with Chandragupta. He saw potential in this young man, but he also recognized that their success depended on factors beyond their control, luck, timing, even divine favor.
Right.
He believed in taking action, but also in aligning himself with the spiritual forces that shape our destiny.
It's like he was saying, do your best, but also recognize that there are forces at play larger than ourselves.
And this awareness of the divine is woven throughout the Arthashastra.
Okay.
He advises leaders to seek guidance through rituals, prayers, and introspection, understanding that human intellect alone is not enough to navigate the complexities of life and leadership.
It's a humbling thought, isn't it?
Yeah.
That no matter how clever we are, there are always forces beyond our control that can shape our destiny.
It is, but I think that's also what makes Chanakya's teaching so enduring.
Oh.
He offered a path to success that embraced both human ingenuity and spiritual awareness, recognizing that true fulfillment comes from aligning our actions with a higher purpose.
It's like he was saying, be the best version of yourself, but also acknowledge the mystery and the magic of the universe.
And I think that's a beautiful message to carry with us as we navigate the complexities of life. But before we delve deeper into the spiritual dimension, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned so far.
Okay.
We've explored the 7 elements of successful kingdom, the Saptanga, and seen how Chanakya blended pragmatism with a deep understanding of human nature and the importance of ethical leadership.
We've also glimpsed his own fascinating journey, the story of the scholar who helps shape an empire. And we've begun to uncover his unique blend of human strategy and divine guidance.
And in the next part of our deep dive, we'll explore this spiritual dimension even further, uncovering Chanakya's insights into the nature of consciousness, the power of intuition, and the importance of aligning ourselves with the cosmic forces that shape our destiny. But before we continue, we want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on Chanakya's blend of pragmatism and spirituality? Have you ever experienced this duality in your own life? Share your insights in the comments below.
And don't forget to like, subscribe to Book Reviews 1, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the final part of our deep dive. We'll be back soon with even more wisdom from the Arthashastra and explore how its teachings can help us navigate the complexities of the 21st century. Welcome back to the deep dive. We're wrapping up our exploration of Chanakya's Arthashastra.
Yes.
And I have to say, this journey has been mind-blowing.
It's been great.
We've gone from ancient political strategy to leadership psychology and even spirituality.
It's amazing.
It's remarkable how relevant Chanakya's wisdom remains even after all these centuries.
It really is.
He was grappling with questions that are still relevant today.
Yeah.
How to lead, effectively make wise decisions, and navigate the complexities of power and human relationships.
Exactly.
We talked about the Saptanga,
Right.
his 7 elements for a successful kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
But the Arthashastra goes way beyond just politics.
Yeah.
It's almost like a guide to life, covering everything from ethics to economics, even personal growth.
Absolutely. And at the core of it all is this idea of Aanvikshiki, the science of reasoning, the art of right thinking. Chanakya believed this was the foundation for all other skills and success.
It's like he's saying, if you can master your mind, you can master anything.
That's a great way to put it. Aanvikshiki isn't just about intelligence. It's about cultivating clarity, balance, and the ability to see things as they truly are.
So it's about removing those mental blinders, those biases that cloud our judgment.
Exactly. It's about developing a mind that is sharp, discerning, and able to make decisions based on logic and reason rather than emotion or impulse.
You know, it's funny, we often think of strategy and spirituality as being completely separate, even contradictory.
Right.
But Chanakya seems to weave them together seamlessly.
That's one of the most fascinating aspects of his thinking. He was a master strategist, a pragmatist, who understood the realities of power and conflict.
Right.
But he also recognized the limits of human control, the importance of aligning oneself with a higher purpose.
And that's where this blend of human and divine comes in, right?
Yes.
Seeking both human advice and divine guidance.
He saw these as complementary, not contradictory.
Right.
He believed in taking action, making strategic plans.
Right.
But also in acknowledging the role of fate, destiny, and the spiritual laws that govern the universe.
It's like he's saying, do your best, but also surrender to what you can't control.
It's a profound insight, and one that's often missing from our modern approach to leadership and success.
Yeah.
We tend to focus solely on human effort, on control and manipulation, forgetting that we're part of a much larger web of interconnectedness.
So what can we learn from Chanakya's spiritual side? How can we apply this wisdom in our own lives?
He would say that true success isn't just about achieving external goals.
Okay.
It's about cultivating inner peace and alignment with one's dharma, one's purpose in life.
And how do we find that purpose? It seems like everyone's searching for their dharma these days.
Chanakya believed it's not something you find out there.
Right.
It's something you cultivate within.
Okay.
Through self-reflection, introspection, and connecting with the divine, our purpose becomes clear.
So it's about quieting the mind, listening to that inner voice, that intuition that guides us.
He also emphasized the importance of living ethically, acting with integrity and compassion. He believed that when our actions are aligned with our dharma and with the principles of righteousness, we create positive karma, which leads to greater happiness and fulfillment.
So it's not just about achieving success. It's about achieving success in a way that benefits not just ourselves, but also the world around us.
And this brings us back to his concept of the Rajarshi, the philosopher king,
right,
who embodies both wisdom and virtue. It's a reminder that true leadership isn't just about power. It's about using power wisely and ethically.
And that's a message that resonates deeply today, as we face so many challenges, from climate change to political polarization to the rise of artificial intelligence. We need leaders who can think strategically, make tough decisions,
yes,
but also act with integrity and compassion.
Chanakya's wisdom reminds us that these qualities aren't mutually exclusive.
Right.
They're essential for creating a just and prosperous society.
Okay, we've covered so much ground in this deep dive, from ancient political strategy to leadership, psychology, and even spirituality. It's incredible how much wisdom is packed into the Arthashastra.
And we've just scratched the surface. There's so much more to explore in this timeless masterpiece.
I have to admit, I've been completely blown away by Chanakya's insight.
It's fascinating stuff.
I'm starting to see the world differently, to think more strategically, and to appreciate the importance of both human effort and the divine guidance.
And that's the beauty of exploring ancient wisdom. It challenges our assumptions, expands our perspectives, and offers guidance for navigating the complexities of life.
Well, we've reached the end of our deep dive.
Okay.
But I feel like this is just the beginning of my journey with Chanakya and the Arthashastra. I'm definitely going to be revisiting this book and reflecting on its teachings.
And I encourage everyone listening to do the same dive into the Arthashastra, explore its wisdom, and see how it can inform your own life and leadership.
And before we sign off, we want to hear from you. What are your biggest takeaways from our deep dive? What resonated with you the most? Share your insights in the comments below.
And don't forget to subscribe to Book Reviews 1 and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future deep dives into fascinating books and ideas. We'll be back soon with more thought-provoking conversations and explorations of timeless wisdom. Until then, keep reading, keep learning, and keep diving deep.